All right, everybody, it is Fantasy Football with Mclovin time.
What's up, guys?
Let's go right on into the news and notes. Bears right guard Long carted off with a right ankle injury. Bears guard Kyle Long was carted off the field with a right ankle injury in the second quarter against Tampa Bay and did not return.
Yeah, that's a huge loss to a team that's already, really mailed it in already. He's a good player, top 5 overall pick when he came out. Very, very talented offensive lineman. His brother plays for the Patriots, and his father is Howie Long, if you remember back in the day. It's a situation where, when it's bad, it gets worse. For the Chicago Bears, he's a good player, but basically, everything's going wrong for the Bears this season.
Broncos return block PAT for win over Saints. The Denver Broncos stole the game from the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, blocking an extra point attempt as time was running out and returning it for 2 points in the win.
Yeah, I saw this play. The Broncos. They were up. They were up 6. Yeah, 23-17, and the Saints came down and scored a touchdown, and they had an extra point to go ahead, and the guy jumped right over the line, blocked the kick, took it all the way back, and it was 2 points, and that ended up being the difference in the game. So it was quite a finish. 2 very good football teams. The Broncos, it was a back and forth type of game, but that was an unbelievable way to win a game and an unbelievable way to lose a game. But basically, the Broncos really pulled it out at the end, and you got to give a lot of kudos to them and their special teams to pull off a play like that in that way in the fourth quarter there. So congratulations to the Broncos.
Vikings long injured Achilles may end season. Vikings left tackle Jake Long had to leave the team's loss Sunday with a left Achilles injury, and coach Mike Zimmer said he believes the injury will be season-ending.
Yeah, the Vikings have really done a faceplant. They started off 5-0. I think they've lost 4 in a row now. They lost their offensive coordinator. No, we haven't really heard of anything from Adrian Peterson in 5 or 6 weeks. Their running game is the worst in the NFL. They're averaging 2.2 yards a carry. They've really lost everything, all the momentum that they had, when they started off with, such a great record. Now they're, I think they're either tied for first or in second place now, looking at the standings, but that's not going to help. Jake Long, a all-pro left tackle who was on the street, they picked him up, and everything is going downhill for Minnesota, a team that started off, losing their running back and losing their quarterback, then acquiring Sam Bradford, and then starting off 5-0, and I think everything's come to surface right now, and they're not able to hide a lot of the things they were able to get away with early in the season. So Minnesota is backtracking every single week. It's almost like they're getting worse every week. It's too bad for a Minnesota team.
Bucs coach unhappy with Evans' Trump protest. Buccaneers coach Dirk Kotter is disappointed in wide receiver Mike Evans for protesting President-elect Donald Trump by sitting during Sunday's national anthem.
Yeah, this is getting kind of old now. This whole protesting with the national anthem, it served its purpose early on in the year, and now it's it's all garbage. Trump won. Trump's the better man. He's a better president. Hillary is garbage, basically. And I'm glad to see Trump win. And Mike Evans, who's a terrific player, one of the most underrated players that you've never really heard about, who's a top-notch receiver, just needs to worry about football and worry about scoring touchdowns rather than protesting for Donald Trump. His life's not going to change. If anything, his life just got better because he's going to be paying less taxes. So he doesn't know that because he's ignorant and he's oblivious to what's really going on. He's doing it just so everyone could look at him and typical type of receiver. It's all about him. He's a diva. So you'll see this gradually go away, and hopefully it does forever.
Falcons safety Neil on hit. Quote, "I'm not a dirty player." Controversy surfaced over the hit Falcons strong safety Keanu Neal leveled on Eagles receiver Jordan Matthews on Sunday over whether it was a helmet-to-helmet hit, despite not drawing a penalty.
It was clearly a helmet-to-helmet hit, no doubt. The only reason he dropped that ball was the helmet-to-helmet hit. I was watching this, and it was 120% helmet-to-helmet. They missed the call. I'm sure he'll get fined from the NFL because it was clearly helmet-to-helmet. He probably, in my mind, he probably should have been thrown out of the game. I don't think he's automatically a dirty player just because he had one helmet-to-helmet hit, but he can't deny that it was not a helmet-to-helmet.
Jones. Romo will back up Prescott next week. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said Tony Romo will be active as a backup to Dak Prescott for next week's game.
This is a great situation if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. I've been talking a lot about this over the past week. The only reason that people are saying it's a controversy is just because of the media. They want it to be a controversy, so they have stuff to write about and talk about. Tony Romo is a great team player, and he came out instantly and said, look, I'm glad Dak Prescott's a starter. It means that we're 8-1. It means that we're on our way to the playoffs and maybe the Super Bowl. This is a situation that every team would love to be in. Having a rookie quarterback, for the future, really, really playing well. And, if anyone watched that Pittsburgh game, he really stepped up in a clutch in tough situations that a lot of veteran quarterbacks couldn't, be successful in. And he's a rookie, and, he's not a rookie anymore. But basically, this is a team that's rolling. The worst thing you could ever do is break up something that is not broke. And Tony Romo, being the guy that he is, it's important for him to say and do what he's doing so that it doesn't create a controversy. Now, if God forbid something happens to Dak Prescott, then you have an all-pro guy coming off the bench. So Dallas is in great position right now, and I don't think there's a controversy anywhere except for in the media. And the media just wants to keep on asking to create a controversy so they have more stories and they can make more money.
Big Ben. Steelers, quote, undisciplined, not accountable. Ben Roethlisberger said the Steelers need more accountability and discipline after their loss Sunday to the Cowboys, adding, quote, we need to get there quick.
Yeah, it was really a great game to watch. Back and forth, lead changes. Two very good football teams. I think Pittsburgh obviously played a lot better than they did last week against the Ravens because they were at home and it was Dallas, and they usually good teams will get up and play even better when they're playing a team that's 7-1 at the time, and they wanted to prove that they're worthy of beating them, and they had plenty of chances to win that game, and they just couldn't get stops when they needed to. I thought Ben had a great game, and anytime you have Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, they both came up big, but the defense could not get a stop. And Ezekiel Elliott was really the MVP of the game. And but Pittsburgh's right there. Right? They're gonna if they get into the playoffs, they're always gonna be a scary team to play. Whether they're a wild card or whether they win that division, no one wants to play Pittsburgh ever in the playoffs because of the fact of the matter they have three really unbelievable talented players on the offensive side of the ball that can score points in a hurry, and it's a team that can go 9-7 or 10-6 and then get hot and get to the Super Bowl as a wild card, which we've seen in the past. So Pittsburgh is right there. They just have to maintain the fact that they have a record to get in the playoffs, and then from the playoffs, when it's 0-0 records, they'll be a tough team to play.
Carroll on Patriots fans. Quote, they weren't nuts. Seahawks coach Pete Carroll said he was unimpressed with the environment at Gillette Stadium, and the Patriots fans, quote, weren't nuts. Well,
this is coming from Pete Carroll. Now, quietly, the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks have developed a rivalry, even though they've only played 3 times in 4 or 5 years. But it was a great game. New England couldn't get off the field on defense, and basically that last turnover that Edelman had really cost them the game. But there was a lot of other different plays that came down to the fact where New England really couldn't get over that threshold. They couldn't get that large margin. points so they could put Seattle to bed. Seattle always had a chance. They only got better as the game went on. Pete Carroll, obviously was fired by New England, fired by Robert Kraft, in order so they could hire Belichick, which the rest is history. It was the right decision to make. He's just bitter, and I think if I were Pete Carroll, I'd be the same way. It was a huge win for Seattle. They played a lot better than I thought they were going to play. Coming off playing on a short week, playing the Monday Night Football the week before, and then having to travel across the country to play on a short week, you got to give them a lot of credit. Their defense stepped up. The defense made plays that the Patriots didn't. That's why they won. Russell Wilson played outstanding. I mean, he made every play that needed to be made. He threw the ball well on the run. He found guys that were open and really exploited New England's defense. I don't know what they were on third down, but it had to have been 10 for 12 or something like that. They really controlled the game. They controlled the offensive line. They controlled the defensive line, and they really scored at will against Patriots defense that they really need to take a look at themselves. But Seattle right now is I think Seattle and Dallas are the two top teams in the NFC. I think from there it's really a crapshoot, but Seattle definitely distanced themselves from the rest of the pack in the NFC. Pete Carroll, I hate him. I hate Richard Sherman. I hate Earl Thomas. I hate all these guys on the Seattle defense. I think they talk too much, and and Pete Carroll especially, he's a cheater. All he's done to different programs is really tear them apart, and he's always bitching and moaning and crying. He's like a cheerleader on the sideline. So, but they do have a good football team. You can't take that away from them.
Steelers Wheaton with a shoulder to see specialist. Steelers wide receiver Marcus Wheaton told ESPN that he will see a specialist about his shoulder injury and hopes it doesn't end his season.
Yeah, that's another huge part. I mean, you have Antonio Brown, and then you kind of have a group of 4 or 5 guys that have really been, doing what they can to, fight for that number 2, number 3 wide receiver. It will be a big loss if he were to go down. I know he's been solid when he's had the time in there, but we'll see what the bottom line is and how it really affects the Steelers going forward.
McCarthy defends track record after Titans loss. A day after his team was routed by the Titans, Packers coach Mike McCarthy came out in full defense of his players, his coaches, and his own track record.
Well, I mean, when you start, this is the thing, when coaches have to revert back to what they've done in the past, means that they don't have any confidence in themselves, they don't have any confidence in their team. They're saying they're not really addressing the problem at hand. They're going back and going down the long road of what have I done in the past. All of his accolades are what they are. He's been to a Super Bowl, he's won a Super Bowl, but that was how many years ago? 5, 6, 7 years ago. So you can't really stand on that. All you have to do is be accountable for what your team is right now. And right now, the Green Bay Packers are a below-average football team. Their defense is, giving up a lot of points. Their offense isn't scoring at the clip that they thought they'd be scoring in. They've had injuries, especially in the backfield. Their offensive line, and fortunate for Green Bay that NFC North is wide open, so they still have a great shot at winning that division. So I think Mike McCarthy is really getting frustrated with the media. He's getting frustrated with his players. And basically, he's they need to win desperately to shut all this media and all the haters down. And they're still a team that no one wants to play in the playoffs. So if they can somehow get themselves in the playoffs, and play at a 0-0 season, they'll be dangerous. But until then, they need to fix this thing immediately, knowing that you're on the second half of the season.
Rams Fisher, quote, things look encouraging for Quinn. Rams coach Jeff Fisher said, quote, things look encouraging for defensive end Robert Quinn, who was admitted to a hospital Monday morning with a non-football related illness.
Yeah, Robert Quinn's a hell of a defensive lineman. I was watching this game when he got hurt. Now, Los Angeles Rams are a sorry team. They're actually going to be starting Jared Goff next week. They beat a poor Jets team 9-6. I watched a lot of that game. I would not encourage anyone to go back and watch that game because it was terrible. The Rams are a bad team, and Quinn, the only bright spot they really do have is their defensive line. And this is definitely going to hurt them going forward.
Browns VP Brown. RG3 could return this year. Robert Griffin III should be back from injury this season, according to Browns VP of Football Operations, Sashi Brown.
Hey, why not? If he comes back, great. They're still haven't won a game. Maybe help him win a game, but I don't think RG3 is the answer. He's just a name right now, and I think the Browns are on pace. I don't see him winning a game, but they might sneak one, here and there. But they're all but done.
NFL ratings soar on first Sunday after voting.
Good.
The Seahawks-Patriots game, a rematch of the Super Bowl from 2 seasons ago, drew a 12.7 rating, 11% better than last year's Week 10 Sunday night game.
Rick Porcello wins the Cy Young Award.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Good for him. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, the ratings. There was NFL was really investigating why the ratings were so bad. And there was a lot of different reasons, but. This last Sunday, they had some great football games, and for sure that Dallas Pittsburgh game was was a top-notch game. Same with New England and Seattle. So I think those ratings will come back to where the NFL wants them to be.
Falcons tight end Tam likely out for rest of season. The Atlanta Falcons are likely to lose tight end Jacob Tam to season-ending shoulder surgery, but the team remains optimistic about the returns of Desmond Trufant and Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, they got this kid Hooper. He's a rookie. He's a really good player. He's going to be a great player for Atlanta going forward. And basically, he'll fill in for Jacob Tamme, who was I remember evaluating him and was a tight end in Kentucky. He was a decent guy, but he's only gotten better because he has strong hands, and he's a viable option coming out of that backfield or off the line, guy that you can count on, and him going down is a loss for them. But this kid Aaron Hooper is going to really step in, and I think he'll do a good job.
Okay, Wilson joined Seattle group eyeing NBA NHL arena. Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson is joining the investment group looking to build a new NBA NHL arena in Seattle Stadium District.
Good for him. He's a smart guy. I'm sure it's something that he feels as though is a good move. Russell Wilson is the same guy outside of the sport as he is on the field. He's a smart player. So I think this would be a smart decision if he's involved in it. I'm sure it's a good thing to do.
Gronk's injury not seen as serious, status unclear. ESPN's Adam Schefter has been told the injury Rob Gronkowski suffered in Sunday's loss is, quote, not overly serious, and he does not have a punctured lung as has been reported.
Yeah, we got that status update, I think, on Monday, and I said to Andy, and we said if it was a collapsed lung, he was done. It's good news that it's not. You won't see him play this week. You won't see him even get on the plane and travel across the country to go play San Francisco. But Gronk is we deal with this. We walk on pins and needles with Gronk because he gets injured so much because he plays at such a high level and he plays full force, 24/7. He really got rocked pretty hard on that hit. You could see he was dazed and confused. But as long as Gronk can walk and talk, and he's gonna somehow figure out a way to get on that football field. And lucky we have doctors that. Would be able to stop him, to save his life because he'd play football until he died. So hopefully he gets better soon. Coughlin
keeps door open for coaching return. Former Giants head coach Tom Coughlin, who was inducted into New York's Ring of Honor on Monday night, said he's willing to coach again if a team offers him a, quote, good opportunity.
I mean, Tom Coughlin, I love Tom Coughlin because he really...
He looks like a leprechaun.
Okay. But as far as, what Tom Coughlin is, he did a hell of a job in New York. He did a hell of a job in Jacksonville. This is a guy who is old school, which I love. And, he's a winner. And he's a guy that I could see maybe taking over a team, maybe if Green Bay fires McCarthy, that'd be a perfect spot for Tom Mclovin to come in. And but I don't think he's going to start at a franchise that needs, from the ground up. I think if one of these coaches on a good team, if they get rid of their head coach, knowing that they have a Coughlin to hire, then I think he could bode pretty well for any team that would hire him.
Evans ends Trump protest, will stand for anthem. Mike Evans has reversed course on his decision to protest the national anthem. Quote, as long as Donald Trump is president-elect, and will stand with his Buccaneers teammates.
Yeah, it ended as soon as we went from one article to the next. This is a bunch of garbage. I think, the someone from above the team or the head coach went and said, cut this shit out because it only causes more distraction. So I think they made it clear to him that it's not something that's in his not something that would work out positive for him in the near future.
Vikes cut kicker Walsh after missed PAT, signed Forbath. The Minnesota Vikings released Blair Walsh on Tuesday, 2 days after the struggling kicker's latest miss.
Yeah, this is last week we were talking about. They brought in 6 kickers and they still wanted to keep him to spark a fire in their ass, and I said it's not going to work, and he missed an extra point. So Blair Walsh, you are on the street.
Blair Walsh, we hardly knew ye.
Correct.
Number 1 pick Goff to get first start as Rams QB. Jared Goff, who was the first overall pick in the 2016 draft, will make his first start for the Rams on Sunday.
Yeah, we saw this coming. The Rams are pretty much out of it. This is a time, for teams to start playing their backup to see what they have. Goff, really, he never even gave Case Keenum a competition in preseason. So now it's his time, and they still have quite a bit of games left to see what he can do and see what they have for going forward in the future.
Falcons coach dismisses, quote, front runner comment. Eagles cornerback Leotis Mclovin's opinion that the Falcons are a, quote, front runner doesn't concern Coach Dan Quinn and the Falcons.
Well, the Falcons are notorious for starting off hot.
Notorious.
And then, backpedaling like they're doing right now. I still think they're a good football team. I still think they'll make the playoffs. And then they really have to figure out how they're going to, win games on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to always be able to score points, but in the playoffs, it's not as easy to score points, so they're going to need to rely on the defense at some point during the season. And if their defense could stand up and, maybe win a couple games, then Atlanta would be a team to worry about. I don't think any team in the NFL or the NFC is worried about playing a team like Atlanta because they know they can score points. So we'll see what happens.
Bills fill a need in secondary, signed safety Ahedebo, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Veteran safety James Ahedebo signed with the Bills on Tuesday, providing the team a capable replacement for injured safety Aaron Williams.
Yeah, I don't really know much about him. Obviously, if it's someone that has to be required to step in, they really can't put too much stock in him. But, injuries do happen in the NFL, and you really have to find the next man up, the next, best guy to get in there and help the team. So we'll see what happens.
Steelers Hayward out for season with torn pec. The Steelers defensive end Cam Hayward is out for the rest of the season with a torn pectoral muscle, while wide receiver Sammy Coates has multiple broken fingers on his left hand.
Yeah, more injuries for Pittsburgh. We were just talking about the other receiver there. So Pittsburgh is a really tough team. They play hard, and when you play hard, you get injured. And we'll see how they can rebound from all these injuries.
Jerry Jones jokes about paying Tony Romo record money as a backup quarterback. Jerry Jones is not ready to write off Tony Romo's potential impact this season, despite the fact he missed the first 9 games.
Like I said, Tony Romo is a really good quarterback when he's healthy. He's had just about everything, injured at some point in his career. I think that, like I said before, they're in a good spot having Tony Romo as their backup in this situation. And, yeah, you can joke about the fact that, he is the highest paid backup, but no one knew this was going to happen at the beginning of the season. So it's all, fun to talk about. But, if they need him, he'll be there, and I think he'll succeed. because he'll just walk right in and pick up where he left off.
Rams defensive end Quinn at practice after leaving hospital. Robert Quinn was in attendance for Rams practice Tuesday after being discharged from the hospital earlier in the day.
Yeah, we were just talking about this guy Quinn. He's a good player. It's good to see him back. The defensive line with the Rams is one of their strong points, and I think they need a guy like Quinn, to rush the passer.
Quote, Dab will do ya. Newton wants more fun in NFL. After all the work NFL players put in, Panthers quarterback said they're, quote, owed being allowed to celebrate after giving their all.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain point, until you start showing up the other team. I think we've talked a lot about Cam Newton. He's really a piece of shit. He needs to worry more about the turnovers that he had when he choked on the game against Kansas City last week.
Cap on not voting. Other ways to create change. Colin Kaepernick says, quote, there's more than one way to create change as he defends his decision to not vote in the 2016 presidential election.
Well, I'd like to know what those are. He's an idiot. Basically, Kaepernick is really, I hate hearing from him. This is a guy that I used to like, and, he's really been, he's been an asshole, and, I don't know what type of change he's looking about, but as long as he keeps his mouth shut, we'll see what happens.
Father of Chiefs long snapper killed at airport. Michael Winchester, a former Oklahoma punter and the father of Chiefs long snapper James Winchester, was shot and killed Tuesday at Will Rogers Airport.
Holy shit.
Seahawks waive Michael reshuffle running game. Christine Michael has been waived by the Seahawks, according to an ESPN source. Michael scored just 1 touchdown and 7 starts for Seattle this season.
I also read that they're going to get Thomas Rawls back. When Rawls comes back, he'll be the guy. And then Procise will be the backup. Procise actually had a great game. Solid game against New England on Sunday. Christine Michael was what he is. He's a 2.5, 3 yards a carry guy, and now we'll be looking for a job.
Browns quarterback Griffin cleared for non-contact work. Quarterback Robert Griffin III, while being medically cleared for non-contact work, did not practice with the Browns on Wednesday.
Like I said, if he does play, it's not going to really help. He's a name. He doesn't have as much talent as he used to. He's banged up. He's been hurt, the last 3 or 4 years. So I don't know what kind of value he has left.
Jets GM supports Bowles, thinks he'll improve. Jets general manager Mike McCagnon said he supports Coach Todd Bowles and thinks he'll improve.
Todd Bowles is a terrible coach, and I think that statement will come to be just something he said during the year, because I think they'll fire him at the end of the year.
Jets GM, no regrets bringing back Fitzpatrick. Jets GM Mike McCagnon says he has no regrets about bringing back Ryan Fitzpatrick on a 1-year, $12 million contract, despite the quarterback's significant struggles in 2016.
I'm sure he does regret it. That's a lot of money to give a guy who's been a poor quarterback. I think he's just saying these things because he's dealing with a tough media group in New York, and I don't think he actually feels the way that from what he's saying.
Jared Goff, quote, confident and ready to go as Rams starting quarterback. Jared Goff said he's ready to take over as the Rams starting quarterback, learning in the classroom and by watching from the sidelines during the season.
Yeah, he's a smart kid. He's a bright kid. We'll just see what he has. I don't know if he's physically ready to play, be an NFL quarterback, but we won't actually know what he has until he actually plays, so we'll see what he's got.
Colin Kaepernick feeling like himself again on field, more comfortable off it. That Colin Kaepernick is feeling more confident as a player and as a person is evident in his play and in his emergence as a polarizing figure.
So many questions about Kaepernick. He still has talent. He's really a bonehead. We'll see, if he can.
See if he can be a zebra.
Yeah.
Fisher, ex-NFL running back, Pede's career over after wreck. Rams coach Jeff Fisher said former NFL and University of Cincinnati running back Isaiah Pede's playing career is over as a result of the injuries he sustained in a car crash on Saturday in Ohio.
Yeah, that's not good. I don't know much about it, but it sounds dangerous.
Romo backs Dak, but says he still wants to play. In his first public comments since suffering his latest back injury, Tony Romo says he backs Dak Prescott, but is still learning to deal with being the Cowboys' backup quarterback.
Correct. We've been over this a couple times. He's a team player. He'll be there to serve as a backup, but also, be there to help Dak, which he's done on the sidelines while he's been hurt. And God forbid Dak goes down, then Tony Romo would be a great guy to come off the bench and help the team win.
All right, Peterson. Falcons Neal should have been flagged. Falcons safety Keanu Neal should have been penalized for his hit on Eagles wide receiver Jordan Matthews, Coach Doug Peterson said.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it was clearly a helmet to helmet. He should have been flagged. That was a big point in the game. That was a third down, and that would have given him 15 yards. Fortunately for the Eagles, they forced Atlanta to punt the possession after, and then went down and scored a touchdown. So I agree that it should have been a penalty, but it was not called, and you just have to move on.
Lions Levy back at practice after 2 months, or Levy. Lions linebacker DeAndre Levy returned to practice for the first time in 2 months.
That's big. He's going to help that team win.
Miami left tackle Albert out Sunday with wrist injury. The Dolphins will be without starting left tackle Brandon Albert on Sunday because of a wrist injury.
Yeah, this is huge. I mean, this is a guy, the Dolphins have been playing really well, and it all stems from their offensive line. A guy like Brandon Albert, Pouncey, and the other guard there. But, when they've had their offensive line healthy, they've been winning football games. So they need to get Brandon Albert back as soon as possible.
Cam Newton opts for color rush uniform when he plays Madden. The NFL's color rush uniforms might not be a universal hit among players, but Newton is a fan of how they look on the field and in the video game.
Cam Newton, that's good. Good for him. Good for him.
Ben Roethlisberger, quote, no real excuse for Steelers' road woes. The Steelers have lost 3 in a row on the road and have been woeful on offense away from Heinz Field with the Browns up next.
Yeah, they're going to have to win some of these games on the road, and why not go and play Cleveland on the road? They should beat them. So I don't think that's a game they should lose. Jaguars
players considered protest, but Pig Sox scuttled plans. In a town hall meeting on race relations, the Jaguars' Prince Amukamara explained why Jacksonville players didn't back Colin Kaepernick fully.
I don't know what to say.
Injured Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski not present at Patriots practice. Coach Bill Belichick wouldn't elaborate on Rob Gronkowski's injury or status for Sunday's game against the 49ers.
I think you'll see he'll be held out throughout this week, and I don't think he'll make the trip to go play San Francisco because, like I was telling Andy, guys with injuries, the last thing you're going to do is take them, 3,000 miles across the country where they can just watch a game and then have to fly back again. So it's not in. If it were to come at this injury couldn't come at a better time because they're not going to need him. They have Bennett, who's been a great tight end to beat the lonely San Francisco 49ers.
All right, let's go right on to the last week and how we did. Just to give you an idea, Mclovin went 10-3 against the spread. He's now up to 61%. He is 85-55 overall against the spread. And last week, we had some moves in the standings here. Just to give you an idea, Yes to Anything That Is Cool Awesome went 9-4. CV Gun went 8-5. Vadix went 8-5. And the big surprise of the week, the guy had been leading pretty much all year and was giving Mclovin a run for his money. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. went 2-11.
Oh, boy.
So here are the updated standings. In first place, we have Yes to Anything That Is Cool Awesome at 87-56-2. Second place, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. at 84-59-2, 3 games out. Third place, CV Gunn at 82-61-2, 5 games out. And last place, Vadix, 74-69-2, 13 games out. And then last week I went 3-10. Mclovin went 11-2. So I am 80-63-2. Mclovin is 91-52-2. I'm 11 games behind.
How much is the other?
Your guy is 4 games behind you.
Okay.
So there you go. All right, let's go right on into the score or the deals from this week. So we have for the spread, we got the Saints, Thursday night game, Saints in Carolina. Carolina at home favored by 3.5.
I'm going to take New Orleans plus the points. I think this is going to be a good game. We haven't had a good Thursday night game in it seems like weeks, but I think that this is a game where I think that Drew Brees always plays well on national televised games, whether it's home or on the road. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a 1-2, maybe 3 points, but I'm going to take New Orleans, especially with the hook on a 3.5. I think they'll win or even lose by 3, but I think they'll cover the spread at 3.5.
All right, Sunday games. Pittsburgh in Cleveland. Pittsburgh on the road, favored by 8.
Pittsburgh minus the points. I think this is a road game. They haven't won a road game in a while. I think they have a lot to prove. They have a lot of frustration to get out after that tough loss to Dallas. Cleveland is just a poor football team. I think they haven't covered a game on their own against the spread this year, or maybe they're 1-9 or something like that. But I would take Pittsburgh and lay the points, and I think they're going to win big in this game.
Baltimore in Dallas. Dallas at home, favored by 7.
It's a tough one. I'm going to take Baltimore plus the points. Dallas is coming off a big win. This might be a trap game for Dallas. Okay, Baltimore, they are who they are. They're a middle of the pack team, but they play tough 4 quarters. They have a great coach in Harbaugh who makes sure that they don't take any plays off and don't commit a lot of penalties. I think Dallas will win this game. I just think that they will not cover the spread, so I'm going to take Baltimore plus the points on the road.
All right, then we got we got Jacksonville in Detroit. Detroit at home, favored by 6.5.
Taking Detroit minus the points. I think they'll win this game by a touchdown. Jacksonville is really, really going back to the Jacksonville of old. We're losing games and losing them bad. I think Detroit, coming off a bye week at home, will win by a touchdown to 10 points to 13 points. So with confidence, I would take Detroit minus the 6.5 against Jacksonville.
And we have Tennessee in Indy. Indy at home, favored by 3.
Take Tennessee plus the points. Tennessee is coming off a couple big wins, and they're hot. Anytime you play Indianapolis, who you really can't. Indy's a funny team. You can never really put your finger on how they're going to play, but anytime you can give Tennessee points, I'd take the points. So take Tennessee plus the points.
You got Buffalo in Cincinnati. Cincinnati at home, favored by 2.5.
I'm going to take Buffalo plus the points. I like the Bills in this game. I like the Bills on the road. They play well on the road. Cincinnati's just so inconsistent. They can't really get a 4-quarter game together. I think it will be a close game. I think 2 or 3 points will define this game, but I'm going to take Buffalo plus the points.
And we got Tampa Bay in Kansas City. Kansas City at home, favored by 7.5.
Kansas City had the same game a couple weeks ago. They were favored by, I think, 7.5, 8.5 against a Jacksonville team, and they just couldn't get it done. They couldn't, cover the spread. When you're looking at a game like this, I think Kansas City will. What's the spread again?
7.5.
Tampa's. I'm going to take Kansas City minus the 7.5.
All right, then we got Chicago in New York to face the Giants. The Giants at home, favored by 7.5.
This is another tough one with the hook. I hate the hook. 7 and that.
Murphy Lee with the hook going to be.
Yeah. Still take the Giants. Giants have been playing good football, especially at home. The Bears are an absolute atrocious mess. You're going to look to see Cutler turn the ball over 2 or 3 times, so I'll take the Giants minus the points.
Cardinals and in Minnesota, it's an even game.
I'm going to take the Cardinals. Minnesota is just terrible. They've really just, really have been disappointing the last. It's been a tale of 2 seasons, 5-0, and they're now 0-4. Arizona, I think, is getting healthier. even though they played a close game against San Francisco last week. But I'm still going to take Arizona to win that game.
All right, the 4:05 game, we have Miami in Los Angeles. Miami on the road, favored by 2.5.
I'm going to take Miami minus the points. They're really hot right now. Brandon Albert's definitely a concern if he's not playing, but I really think the way Jay Adai is running the ball and the way that the defense is playing for the Dolphins, Adam Gase really has that team going. They're flying on all cylinders, and I'm rooting for Miami not only for the rest of the season, but I think they'll cover the spread against the Rams.
All right, in the 4:25 game, we got New England and San Francisco. New England on the road, favored by 13.
Take the Pats minus the points. This is a homecoming for Tom Brady. He grew up in San Mateo. Him and Julian Edelman both grew up in the San Mateo area, which is south of San Francisco. I used to live out in that area. Last time I was working for the Niners when the Pats went out there last year, 2000. The last time in 2008, that was when Brady had torn ACL on the first play against Kansas City. Bernard Pollard, if you remember that play. I think Brady's going to come back. They have a lot to prove. They just got beat by a Seattle team. I think they'll win this game by 14, 20, 28 points.
All right, Philadelphia in Seattle. Seattle at home, favored by 6.5.
This is a good one. I'm going to take Philly plus the points. I think that Seattle's clearly a better team. I think Seattle will win the game, but I think Philly's had some tough games and they've gotten better as a team through adversity. And basically I think that Seattle's going to win the game, but I think that Philadelphia will cover the spread.
All right, and then the 8:30 Sunday night game, Green Bay is in Washington. Washington at home, favored by 2.5.
I'm going to take the Redskins. They're hot right now. I think Green Bay is definitely on a landslide. I think that they're really questioning themselves. They're questioning their offense. They're questioning their defense. They're questioning their head coach. But I think, Kirk Cousins and the Redskins really are playing the best football they've been playing all year long. And I think on a nationally televised game, I think they'll come out and they'll cover the spread.
And then the Monday night game, Houston in Oakland. Oakland at home, favored by 5.5.
This is a good game. I'm going to take Oakland minus the 5.5. I think it will be a close game. But I think in the end, Oakland will pull away and win by 6 points to a touchdown.
All right, so the teams that have buys, we got Atlanta, Denver, New York Jets, and San Diego. So straight up picks: New Orleans, Carolina. Who do you have?
New Orleans.
Okay, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Who do you have?
Pittsburgh.
Okay, Baltimore, Dallas. Who do you have?
Dallas.
Okay, Jacksonville, Detroit. Who do you have?
Detroit.
Okay, Tennessee, Indy. Who do you have?
Tennessee.
Okay, Buffalo, Cincinnati. Who do you have?
Buffalo.
Okay, Tampa, Kansas City. Who do you have?
Kansas City.
All right, Chicago, Giants. Who do you have?
Giants.
Arizona, Minnesota. Who do you have?
Arizona.
Miami, Los Angeles. Who do you have?
Minnesota. Miami.
Well, we're even so far. New England, San Francisco. Who do you have?
New England.
Philadelphia, Seattle. Who do you have?
Seattle.
I'm going to have Philadelphia with the upset. And then Green Bay, Washington.
Washington.
Okay. I'm going to have Green Bay. And then Houston, Oakland.
Oakland.
Yeah. So we only have two games that differ. And now it is time for our favorite time. We are going to call EDP 445. He's coming at you with another video like he does. So let's see what he's got for his upset pick of the week.
It's my dad's favorite time. Shout out to my dad. PC, Providence Basketball. PC had a big win against Vermont the other night.
What's up, little bitch? Nigga, what's poppin'?
What's up, man? How are you doing, man?
Oh, man, I'm fucking fantastic, dude. I'm just on here, man, just fucking chilling and seeing it.
All right, so it was a crazy week in the NFL. Your Eagles beat the Falcons. My Patriots lost to the Seahawks. The whole world's falling apart left and right. So the deal, the deal is this: we got two games on the docket. Philadelphia, Seattle. I already know who you have. I'm just going to tell you that I picked Philadelphia with the upset of the week. But you obviously have Seattle, I imagine.
Doesn't matter who they face. Yeah. They're gonna lose.
Who's that?
Sorry about that, Ma. I thought. Let me turn that shit down.
No, that's all right.
Sorry, that was my bad. Good. Okay, I'm listening.
Was that Nitro Freak?
No, that was just fucking faggot ass Cowboys, man. Hell one shit. Fuck.
All right.
My bad.
That's right, man. All right, so Philly, Seattle, who do you have?
I got fucking Seattle kicking our ass, dude. Fuck that.
All right, in the next game we got Green Bay and Washington. Who do you have? Green Bay, Washington.
I have Washington. I feel like Green Bay is fell off considerably. I think after the ass whooped last week by the Titans, man, I just don't think that they're the same fucking team anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mclovin also picked Washington as well. He's on your side with that. And do you have an upset pick of the week for us?
Upset pick of the week. Let's see here. Let me go to my NFL.com really quick. My upset of the week will be. Let's see here.
Cleveland over Pittsburgh.
Get the fuck out of here. Fucking wait a second. Baltimore over Dallas.
Ooh, that's a sexy upset of the week.
Well, I said it was a trap game for sure. Yeah.
Yep. All right, man. I appreciate you being on the show. As always, we'll stay tuned for next week. And obviously, EDP445's link will be down in the description box so you can check out his channel. He has picks every week with Nitro Freak among his Eagles videos. EDP, thanks for being on the show, man.
Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
All right, man.
Anytime.
We'll see you
Later.
All right, man. I'll catch you guys later.
And that's the show. Stay tuned for tomorrow for Scratching Thursday. Kenny doesn't know this, but we do have a guest scratcher coming in tomorrow. Kenny will have the week off. I'm going to actually tell him now. This guy is extremely lucky. I've known him for a long time.
Who is it?
You don't even know him. You'll meet him for the first time tomorrow. But he's extremely lucky. He's won I think $3,000 over the last 2 months. On
guy we used to work with?
Nope. But I've known him. So we'll see you tomorrow. Stay tuned for the magical guest scratcher tomorrow. And anything else?
Go Friars. Go PC Friars.
Go PC Friars.
If anyone's an NCAA basketball fan out there, this is the time of the year. Basketball's getting going. Providence College is a team that I follow die hard with my dad. And, they got a big game coming up tomorrow or Thursday night against Ohio State. We're going to see what type of team they are. Right now they have they got this kid Emmett Holt, who's a JUCO transfer who's really playing well, and he had a great game against Vermont. And all PC fans are really, really excited about him, and hopefully you guys can check out the PC Friars coming up. If they're on TV a lot on Fox Sports 1, which is a Big East channel. So go Friars.
And it'll be even better if his baby is driving the Warwick school bus. So we'll see you next week, fuckers.
See ya.